Good afternoon, this is Sarah, your healthy carnivore in the UK, who is not going to apologise for herself anymore. Alleluia. I've now reached a place where I am going to start to appreciate myself a lot more, to stop beating myself up as much, making excuses. I think over the last 5 years, 4 to 5 years, I think many of us have been through a lot of trauma in our lives. Some of it political trauma, but also some of us have gone through other kinds of trauma running alongside that, haven't we? I know that many of my viewers have had a difficult time over the last few years. I have too. Very, very briefly, just going to briefly mention the fact that my mother was diagnosed with very severe, unlikely to be cured cancer just over 4 years ago, and I wanted her to take an alternative route to what the doctors suggested. She trusted the doctors, dismissed my information, and sadly, I didn't want to be right. Of course I didn't. I was highly traumatized by everything that we went through together, but sadly, my feelings that the doctor's route may not fix her turned out to be correct, and I had to nurse her on our final days last year on my own without any help in her house. Turns out she wanted my help then. Didn't want my help to try and fix her, but on the very last moments only wanted me. Yeah. I consider that a trauma, and I know that many of us have been through trauma over the last 4 years that have put paid to our health. A lot of people are suffering mentally and physically since 2019, 2020. Not going to get all controversial about my opinions on the whole subject, but I think it's safe to say we've all been through a lot of trauma, and many of our healths have suffered. Mine certainly has. I think my health would probably be absolutely optimal in every single area had the events of the last 4 years not happened. But I'm not going to make excuses for myself or apologise for myself anymore. Food is my most favourite activity. I'm embarrassed to say, but eating is my most treasured activity. I love eating my meat, but obviously if there weren't health implications with eating crap, I'd be eating it all the time. Sadly, it makes us gain weight and it makes us inflamed and it gives us lots and lots of health implications. So we have to decide what we're going to eat on a daily basis. But eating though, the act of eating, the act of putting something in my mouth and eating it is my most favourite treasured thing, and I'm sure it is for pretty much everyone watching this channel, because we've all got ourselves into a situation that we're now trying to dig ourselves out of by eating food choices that perhaps weren't the wisest of choices, but we did what we could. Doing our best looks different every single day, doesn't it? And sometimes we don't make the best choices, but we pick ourselves up and we move forward. It's very painful, constantly feeling like a failure, constantly making excuses for myself, justifying why I haven't become optimal weight, and I'm going to stop doing it. I cheer myself up though on a daily basis by reminding myself that as eating is my most favourite activity and I am a recovering sugar and carb addict, I could be so much bigger than what I weigh. I could be 100 or 200 pound more than what I weigh, and I need to thank myself and feel blessed every day that I have taken the steps to keep my weight at least a sensible level. There are lots of people who would like to be my weight, and so I need to remember my audience when I talk about my weight. I need to remember there are some people that would love to weigh what I do, and so I need to be highly careful with the words I use on this channel. People are following this channel that at the beginning of the journey, or have had a bumpy journey like me, and they don't need me saying, oh gosh, wish I didn't weigh such and such a weight. That's not helpful to anybody. It's not helpful to me. It's helpful to nobody. Moving forwards, I'm going to be talking about health benefits. I'm going to be talking about the war on meat, but I'm going to keep my weight out of the conversation as much as possible moving forwards. I need to celebrate the wins, the health benefits I've gained, the fact that if I went down the doctors, they probably wouldn't find much wrong with me. They could probably try and put me on some kind of medication, but I wouldn't, because I don't subscribe to medication, and I will do whatever it takes to stop that. And that should be my goal. Mentally healthy and physically healthy. And if I'm a bit cuddly around the middle than I should be, it is what it is. It is who I am. This is my journey. This is where I'm at. Life is short. Life is super short, and I don't want to waste more of my time feeling like I'm doing things wrong and not being a good example. I actually do think I'm a good example, because I am somebody who will go to great lengths. You know, I will do whatever it takes to not be a cancer statistic, a dementia statistic, an Alzheimer's statistic, Parkinson's. I don't want to be a diabetes statistic. I don't want to need to have bits of my body removed and replaced. I don't want to be a burden on the healthcare system. I want to follow in my grandmother's footsteps, the grandmother that was super healthy because she ate a lot of meat and didn't want medication. But she wasn't that skinny. She wasn't that skinny. She was strong. She was strong as an ox, but she wasn't skinny. But she had all of her faculties working everywhere. So if I say I want to be like her, I need to be like her. She didn't own a set of scales, and she didn't constantly whinge about her weight. So I shouldn't be. By doing that, by beating myself up and getting on the scales and whinging about my weight, I'm disrespecting her, and I don't want to disrespect her because she was an amazing woman. I want to, if I'm going to be like her, I need to be exactly like her. So I'm not going to apologize for my weight anymore. I think I'm probably going to give my bathroom scales away, not just hide them somewhere, remove them from my equation. I'm focusing on my health, mentally, physically. I don't want to be a depression statistic either. My mother and father both suffered with depression, and my brother still does. I wish he would stop eating the sugar and seed oils, but he doesn't want to. Every time he moans about how he feels, I send him another video. He doesn't get me anywhere. So mostly he stops moaning because he doesn't want me to say, why don't you give up that? Why don't you eat more of that? You can't help some people. You can only be an example. And I think the older I get, the more of an example I'm going to be. I may not be the skinniest of persons, but I can be lively, vibrant, happy, jolly, not suffering with my joints, not suffering with my gut, not suffering with stuff, not on any medication. And the older I get, the more impressive that will be. I intend to get to my 60th, 70th birthday, still not on medications, still not suffering from anything. And I think that's a lot more impressive than, how big are you around the middle? Yep. So I'm not going to apologise for my weight. I'm not going to apologise for my journey. I'm proud of my journey. I know that I could be in the 300s, 400s pounds easily if I hadn't kept coming back to Carnivore and kept getting on that healthy train no matter what. Struggling with it, keep getting on the train. Didn't lose weight, I just keep getting on the train and staying on the train for as long as I can. Then a part of a limb might fall off the tracks. I drag it back up and we keep going on that healthy train. And people say to me, there's no way you could be in the 300s or 400s or 500 pounds in weight. I actually could. With my love of sugar and my love of carbs and processed food, I could quite easily. There's no upper limit to how much body weight a human being can hold on to. And to say that I'm under 200 pound, I think is okay for me right now. I'm doing my best in a difficult situation. We're all doing our best. We're all staying alive. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you're all having a sparkly Friday like I am. Eat your meat, drink your water, and live your life to the fullest, but don't sweat the little stuff that doesn't matter. You take care. Bye.